Hello everybody, I am Rue and this is my cozy little corner of booktube, Rue with the Books. Us readers do enjoy looking at books. Put your hands in the air if you've gone into a bookshop to browse and look at book covers and then left without buying anything. I know I have. We love a good book cover, and then going a step further, a book with a lovely cover and maybe some gorgeous sprayed edges, a lovely special edition. Oh, absolutely to die for. Well, in this video, I will be rating book covers for upcoming Spring 2026 releases by plopping ratings between 1 and 5 for them and giving my thoughts on what I love or hate about them. I think this is a very, very easy thing to be opinionated about, and that's what makes this kind of video very fun to do. We can have totally different opinions and it'll be quite funny if you're on the complete opposite side of the fence with my opinions. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below in the future if there is anything you are just completely on the opposite side of the fence about. Today's question is, what is your favorite book cover? I would love to see some gorgeous covers myself, so do let me know. Before I get into rating these covers, be sure to press the like button to show your support for my content. Every like helps tremendously and it's a group effort, so do your part. Also, if you like books, booktube and booktube content, be sure to slam that subscribe button so you get more of my videos appearing in your subscription feed. I do upload every week, so definitely more content coming your way. I will throw out a couple of comments before I get to it. These are just my ratings of the book covers, not the books themselves. If I like a cover, it doesn't mean I love the book, and if I hate the cover, it doesn't mean I hate the book. I haven't read any of these, so it is what it is. It's fun to just judge books by their covers, I think. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get at it. So the first book is Lady Tremaine by Rachel Hochhauser, and this book released on March the 3rd, so it is already out. I really enjoyed the simplicity of this book cover. It's black, which just makes everything else pop. The title takes up most of the cover, not the author name, which in my opinion is the correct way around. The size of the L in comparison to everything else kind of gives the vibe that it should be medieval inspired or have a kind of medieval setting. So yeah, there's a lot you can gain from this, and the bird and flowers surrounding the text are pretty. It's not a top tier book cover, but it conveys all of the information that it needs to, and I respect that. 4 stars out of 5. Next up is Radiant Dark by Alexandra Olivia, and this book is set to release on April 28th. I do personally enjoy the beauty of the cosmos. Kind of like the last book cover, this one conveys the necessary kind of messaging about what this book is about. We have a cabin in the woods, out somewhere quite rural, with a gorgeous and stunning stellar backdrop, in addition to what looks like a shooting star. I like how the shooting star acts as the O in novel. It's a cute little detail. The only things I don't love about this book cover are that it's a little bit boring. I don't think many people will disagree with me on this one. And I also don't love how skinny the font is, in addition to how ugly the A letter is. It kind of looks like alpha in the Greek alphabet, but it just doesn't really work for me. Yeah, and I think that for the most part, the kind of text size and the way it takes up most of the cover is good without obscuring everything else. So I like that. But yeah, it's quite a standard cover, not amazing. 3 stars out of 5, but does have some nice little things. Next up is John of John by Douglas Stewart, and this book is set to release on May the 5th. So the cover has a little bit of a footnote, which is that it's by the author of Shuggy Bane. I haven't read that book, but I've heard that it's sad and depressing. I reckon that Douglas Stewart writes a lot of books like that. I think this cover is maybe a little bit boring. It's just some text on top of a painting of clouds during a sunset. What I do like about this cover is the font. It's very clear to read, it's quite inoffensive. I do think the text takes up maybe too much of the cover though. It's literally just half title, half author name. If you're gonna give me a nice sunset, at least let me appreciate it a little bit more. I rate this one 2 stars out of 5. And now we have Enormous Wings by Laurie Frankel. This one is set to release on May the 5th, which is the same as the last one. So this is quite a simple cover, but it's nice and effective in my opinion. The colors are bright, and the thing on the cover is quite akin to a child's drawing of the sun, or how typically we kind of draw a sun with its sunlight just radiating from the center. This cover screams hope and optimism to me. I also enjoy the way in which the text is kind of stretched and pulled horizontally and vertically. It kind of is very warm and bright, if that makes any sense, despite the black text. It just looks quite nice. It's not a breathtaking cover, but it does kind of pull you in to read the blurb with its overwhelming positivity, and I do quite enjoy that. I'm not a big fan of the New York Times bestselling author shenanigans, but I guess it does help the reader know who the author is and what they have written and what they are known for, so I guess that's that. But yeah, I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. It's not my favorite, but what it does, I think it does quite effectively. Now we have Midnight Train by Matt Haig, and this one is set to release on May the 26th. So this is a quite a nice cover in my opinion, but it does have some things that bring it down. I like how elegant it appears to be, with a bit of stuff kind of embedded within the smoke of the train. I think that's cool. The colors are quite nice. I like the shade of blue that they've gone for. I like the black and the orange. I think that's cool too. It's quite, I don't want to say necessarily warm because the shade of blue isn't super warm, but it does stand out. I'm not a big fan of the choice of fonts, especially using multiple fonts in one cover in this kind of way. I think it's meant to convey the elegance and supposed beauty of Matt Haig's work. The only book of his I've read is The Humans. I'm also not a fan of the New York Times best-selling thing, but I get it. You gotta toot your own horn sometimes. I rate this one 3 stars out of 5. Up next is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark, and this one is set to release on April the 7th. I have some mixed opinions on this cover. First of all, I think the keyhole thing is hugely overdone now. I guess its messaging is that it's going to be a bit like The Housemaid, the hugely popular novel. But come on, be original now. However, I do like that it's kind of like a book inside a book inside a book, with the colors alternating between white and red. Red on white is a really nice combo in my opinion. It just stands out and looks good. And I like some of the little details, like the blood drop on the side or the top left, conveying that it's going to be a crimey mystery kind of novel. I like that the casting of the shadows of the books, it kind of shows the direction that the light is coming from, or maybe that these books are being illuminated by some sunlight. I think the text also takes up a perfect proportion of the cover itself, with the title taking up a little bit less than half, and the author name taking up about maybe 20% of the bottom, and title, author is the correct way round in my opinion, so that's good too. So yeah, I think this is quite a visually striking cover, but maybe some people are bored of this kind of style, so I kind of get it. But yeah, this one is 3 stars out of 5. Next up we have Mad Mabel by Sally Hepworth, and this one is set to release on April the 21st. I love the use of colors in this cover. It's very, very minimalistic in its style, and it introduces you to the main character, Mabel, straight away. She has red hair, she has some nice sunglasses and a nice top. She's either going to be very elegant or very fiery. It's called Mad Mabel, so I'm guessing she's going to be a bit quirky, a bit unpredictable, a bit crazy maybe. Red is my favorite color, so I'm a big fan of how much red there is in this cover, and I kind of enjoy that wallpaper aesthetic that's going on in the back. Shows that maybe she's wearing her sunglasses indoors, which is also crazy and adds to that madness going on in this cover. I'm not a big fan of the font for the author. It's very, very skinny. Which is very big contrast to the kind of thickness and boldness of the Mad Mabel, the actual title itself. Once again, the New York best time seller thing, not a big fan of that, but yeah, it is what it is. It doesn't take up too much of the space. It's kind of inoffensive in that regard, at least. Yeah, I like the minimalist aesthetic a lot for this one, so that's pretty cool. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Now we have Wolfworm by T. Kingfisher, and this one is set to release on March 24th. So to start, I like this cover a lot. It's pretty damn disgusting, and it conveys the kind of genres it's going for, maybe the kind of horror style it's going for as well. So to start, the use of the white for the title contrasting to the black of the background makes it very easy to read. You instantly know what the book's called. And it's a nice inoffensive font too. I really like the flower and how many colors there are within it. It kind of adds a bit of depth to the cover, considering the title, author name is just white on black. So the pink of the blossom, the green leaves, the orange stem, which then kind of turns into this deep, dark, horrid red for the root, and how you can see it's kind of spreading. I'm kind of freaked out by the bees or wasps on the stem, and how they look like they're maturing as they go from left to right. That is very, very disgusting. I don't like that, but in a good way. Yeah, so you can tell it's meant to be horror, or at least freak you out a bit. It kind of conveys the vibe of the book perfectly. It's not the most crazy artistic cover, but what it does very, very well, and there's nothing I can really fault with it myself. So I rate this one 5 stars out of 5. And now we have Nothing Tastes as Good by Luc Dumas. The release date of this one is March 31st. So this cover is a little bit plain, but what it actually does on it does pop out. The font is kind of edgy, but it is still clear to read, and it contrasts well with the background. The title links to the item of food in the cover quite well, because damn right, donuts are freaking delicious. I love a good donut myself, especially the ones with the filling. I'm not a big fan of the kind of whole donuts. These British style donuts are peak. The small fonts on there for the little best-selling author bit and a novel is kind of hard to read, because pink on that kind of yellowy white does not work so well. I would have made it darker personally. It's plain and it's simple, but doesn't tell me much about the book itself. I don't think the imaging, the kind of messaging is too effective. But if I saw this in a shop, I would be tempted to pick it up and read what's on the back. So, you know, there's that going for it. So I rate this one 3 stars out of 5. Up next, we have Molka by Monica Kim. and this one is set to release on April the 28th. I do like this cover quite a bit, actually. It works really, really well as a cover for a horror novel, and it actually gives quite a bit of like a Saw aesthetic, in my opinion. I like how the text is behind the vent, but in my opinion, it's still quite easy to read. It's quite a plain cover, but everything about it is very, very ominous, and that works really well. The red lights, the grimy tiles, the congealing blood. It looks like a crime was ready to happen, and it already has. So we're going to kind of on the back burner there trying to figure out what's happened. And maybe it's going to be a cat and mouse game between the person who has perpetrated the crime and who is looking into it. I've not read the blurb, so no idea what it's about. This is just me going off the dome, kind of theorizing what's going on there. But yes, so the text on top also gives a bit of context as to what the book is about, which I appreciate. It says he has a taste for voyeurism and she has a thirst for revenge. So there's a bit of a kind of some crazy stuff going on there. So yeah, I'm sure this one's quite an interesting read. Hopefully it's good when it comes out. People do enjoy it. And it's by the author of The Eyes Are the Best Part, which I know nothing about, but clearly some people do. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Up next, we have Celestial Lights by Cecil Pinn. And this one is set to release on March 24th, which is quite soon. I like this cover a lot. The title and the author name is correct. The amount of space they take up on the cover is perfect. I like the astronauts on the patch of grass with their kind of a headlights illuminating them. The little stars that are dotted around in various colors, and they match the theme of the cover. It's very, very warm. It's cozy. The texture of the grass itself in and out of the headlights. It's quite simple, but it just gets everything right. I also quite like the fonts, and it tells you who the author is. They're the author of Wandering Souls, which weirdly enough also actually matches the vibe of this cover too. I'm not sure if they're related at all, probably not, because then it'll probably say sequel to Wandering Souls. But yeah, you can kind of get to the vibe that this author writes in, and that's pretty cool too. A nice little extra touch. I like this cover a lot. It's 5 stars out of 5 for me. Next up, we have Honor and Heresy by Max Francis, and this one is set to release on April the 21st. I like this cover a lot, but I feel like this one is going to be controversial. People will probably either love it or hate it, and I'm kind of more on the love it side. It's a nice drawing to start with. The text stands out, and I like the way that it merges onto the bookshelves, so you don't kind of lose that setting that the characters are in. The torch illuminates things nicely and adds a bit of warmth to the scene here. I like the wood aesthetic that's going on. It's very, very primitive in a good way. You can kind of tell that this is going to be, well, it says Gothic Academia novel, but I was going to say it's going to have some kind of like maybe medieval setting or this kind of Gothic thing. I guess Gothic is probably the perfect word to describe this, actually. I like the medieval ampersand and the medieval font for the author name. It once again kind of brings you into this setting that this book is based in. The use of color is gorgeous. It's bright, which contrasts very nicely to this kind of dusk setting outside, which you see through the window on the far side of the cover. So you actually have, I guess, you can kind of tell where the kind of camera angle is, and it works quite well. This library thing looks quite long, but not massive, but it's very, very tall. Looks like it's got multiple floors. It gives a vibe of what the book will be about, in my opinion. Adventurous, exciting, mysterious. I like it a lot. It's 5 stars out of 5 from me. Now we have The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. And this one is set to release on May the 5th, which will come sooner than you think. I absolutely adore this cover. Fonda Lee and the artist that made it really, really popped off. It's just a banger cover. First of all, the background is absolutely gorgeous. The big moon, the vestiges of civilization, the shading between the various parts of the snow, this kind of blue and purple combination, it's divine. The way you see the snow falling in it, kind of the ground and everything has this grainy texture. Then you have the main character. You can tell she is on some kind of mission. The red cloak. She's battling the cold and the wind is literally kind of causing her hair to move. It's not just stood on its back. Yeah, the bright red, the sword in her hand. I like the title and the author font. They stand out and take up a good proportion of the page. You can tell it's by the author of the Greenbone Saga, which if you haven't read, you should. Amazing fantasy series. And yeah, just an amazing cover. I love it a lot. This is probably one of my favorites so far in this video. Oh, and yeah, it's 5 stars out of 5. Now we have The Tapestry of Fate by Shannon Chakraborty, which is set to release on May the 12th. Yay! Another gorgeous book cover. There's a lot of visual storytelling going on here. You can tell what the setting is based on the buildings. It looks kind of Middle Eastern or like Egyptian. And the shipwreck on the coast, it kind of adds this danger and mystique, like what happened to it? How did it crash up? Was there something that caused it to do so, or was it natural? Was it someone just being inept? The texture of the blue background is gorgeous too, and it just adds a little something to have every part of the page be as visually striking as possible. There are a lot of intricate details in the artwork that just makes it absolutely stunning. The water also looks very refreshing, very enticing, like you want to just take a dip in it and kind of relax when it seems like it's going to be very hot outside. I like how the colors are segmented and travel upwards. So you start with this kind of blue, like dark blue, then you go into the light blue with the white, then you have the brown of the ship with the white sail that's kind of rotting, then you have the blue mountains, and then the kind of orange, beautiful foliage into the kind of light, beigey buildings, and then back to that blue of the sky. I absolutely love this kind of bird, eagle, bird of prey thing, whatever that's going on. It's very scaly. You can tell what it is. It looks very beautiful, a little bit regal, but just entirely terrifying at the same time. Yeah, this book cover is absolutely amazing. And I rate it 5 stars out of 5. It's definitely not a 4. Next up, we have The Girl with 1,000 Faces by Sun Yidin, and this one is set to release on May the 5th. This is a really cool cover. Not a big fan of the fonts chosen. They look a little bit janky, but the art itself is absolutely gorgeous. The woman on the cover looks very ominous with those kind of cloudy irises, but the choice of using gold, red, black looks amazing. From an art perspective, the actual artwork is just perfect. I do find that the fonts let it down a bit. You can't really tell what this book is about from the artwork though, so you kind of just gotta love the cover and want to pick it up and read the blurb to find out more. Next up, we have Homebound by Portia Elon, and this one is set to release on May the 5th. This is like a much nicer version of the John of John cover. The colors are more vibrant, and you can enjoy the artwork a little bit more. The colors are also less muted, which I enjoy. I like brightness and positivity, so that's good for me. Although I'm not too sure about the random pixelation. It covers up some of the less lovely parts of the cover, but I still would have preferred just that nice cloud sky thing that's going for it. The choices of kind of that red hue to it are just gorgeous. I did kind of have a look at the blurb a little bit for this one, and it says that the main character is a computer scientist or is into tech. So the pixelation does make sense. but I'm not a big fan of it personally. So yeah, I'm gonna go smack bang in the middle with this one. It's 3 stars out of 5 from me. Next up, we have Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinnerman, and this one is set to release on May the 12th. I love this cover. In fact, I love all of the hardback covers for the Dungeon Crawler Carl books. This one has lovely coloring. It's the same brilliant font, and you can tell there is some crazy stuff going to happen, so that kind of intensity really, really draws you in. There's a van that's on fire, a machine gun mounted on it, so it's going to be some kind of, well, traveling and crazy stuff going on. Carl looks like he's about to throw some giga explosives. I'm a bit biased with this series, I'm not gonna lie, but the cover is sick for sure. There are even some player killer skulls up in the corner, and I just love the detail of the reaching hands, like they're kind of chasing him and he's trying to get away and get to his destination. Yeah, amazing book. The fonts, the text takes up a good proportion of the cover, which makes the kind of car in the middle pop, and all those little details are brilliant. I rate this one 5 stars out of 5. Up next, we have Canon by Paige Lewis, and this one is set to release on May the 19th. I have absolutely no idea what this book is about, but the cover art is definitely making me want to pick it up and read it. We have a flying whale, people fighting in this kind of either Roman or maybe Egyptian setting, with these shields and spears. There's a weird fire tribal tattoo looking salamander. Yeah, I like how it looks old with the segmentation, but new at the same time, and I've not seen any covers really like this. It's kind of mosaic-y. All the text takes up a good proportion of the page, of the cover. Yeah, it's really, really cool. I like the kind of choices of colors in this one too. They're not super vibrant. It makes it feel kind of dated, like we're going back in time with this one, but there's some kind of, as I said, it's just weird. It's a really cool mismatch of everything, and I love it a lot. This one is 5 stars out of 5 from me. Stunning originality. Next up, we have Starship by Cat Sebastian, and this one is set to release, or has released, on March the 3rd, so yes, you can go and read this now. I decided to throw this one in as a bit of a meme, because this kind of cover style is very, very popular for romance covers at the moment, where you have these two people very, very close to one another. It gives that kind of like hockey romance style to it. Which, yeah, is super, super popular at the moment. But what I will say is that you definitely know what to expect from this book based on the cover, which is really good. Two dudes falling in love. They probably meet during some Hollywood shoot. There's probably a lot of drama. I imagine there's some tight deadlines and people are stressed. And these two guys, they find some comfort in one another. And that helps give them some escapism from all this stress and drama that's going on this Hollywood shoot setting. Yeah, so you've got a hunk of a blonde guy, a charming dark-haired lad. I do love that kind of Archer art style to it. I know Archer's not the first kind of thing to use it. It was popular in probably like the 60s, 70s, 80s. But I do love this kind of revival for it, and it's kind of the actual intended use of it. Yeah, the cover looks weirdly dated. Maybe it's based on some like 80s, 70s, 90s TV. But yeah, I like it a lot. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. And the final book in this video, whose book cover I am going to rate and judge, is Stormbreaker by Nisha J. Tully, and this one is set to release on May the 5th. I do enjoy a bit of purple, and this cover is absolutely loaded with it. The book cover is pretty exciting. It seems like it could be an urban fantasy setting, because that kind of top conical section looks like a map. It looks maybe a bit New Yorky. It's centered around a female protagonist that awakens her power at some point in the book, I'm going to guess. This cover doesn't do much, but it does all it needs to tell you what to expect of the book. I do love the purple and yellow combo. It's very bold, it's easy to read, it's just a great combination, and the font itself is kick-ass. To be honest, I love the little bits of shadows in there too, just adding a bit of depth to the font itself, the text itself, sorry. I rate this one 4 stars out of 5. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope you get given a special edition copy of your favorite book today. I hope you had an absolutely brilliant time looking at these book covers with me today and judging alongside me. Were there any that you completely disagreed with me on? If you haven't already, be sure to answer today's question in the comment section below, or tell me what you're reading at the moment or what your last read was. I reply to all of my comments, so I would love to have a chat with you. I have some social media down in the description below, namely my Goodreads, my TikTok, my Instagram, and my Storygraph, so you can connect with me on those if you so wish. Anyway, until next time, Rue out.